Good morning, one and all, on this fine, fair Sunday morning. I thought you might get a bit fed up of just seeing this, so I brought Ollie the owl to come and join us. Okay, let's get started. Ollie, fly away home. That's the sign gone. I am recording you on my new phone. So let's see if this works. New phone. Took me ages to get it sorted though. Ugh. They never come with a straightforward set of instructions, do they? Okay, so today we are making this. What is this? I hear you say. Let me just reach out for that bit of paper. Scrappy bit of paper, look. Basically, this is a pocket from here. But it's also a pocket from up here as well. So you have a double pocket. A few things to consider again, as usual. Now then, if you want to make one of those pockets with the magazine, and let's say you choose this image here, it's no good. It's no good because it's right on the edge of the page, and unfortunately you need an image that is going to be roughly centre. It doesn't matter if it's slightly over to the side, say sort of here, so that you've got enough to tuck back for the back of the pocket. But if you choose an image that's right on the edge of the paper, it's no good. It's no good unless you make the pocket up first with a piece of card and then cut the image out and stick it on top. So that works fine. Because these, because they're so long, they're the full length of the page, kind of lend themselves towards a long pocket or a very long tag. Another thing you need to think about, we need a thumb hole at the top. So you don't want to be chopping into a head. So at least then you can have this a little bit further down on the card and have the thumb hole just purely on the pocket that you've made with the card. Yeah? That's first consideration. Okay, where's my trimmer? It's right there, Carol. Where's my ruler? Oh, that's right there as well, Carol. There we are. Let's go back to the original. So the width of this, and you know I'm not one for really measuring. I'm being good because it's you guys. So the width of this is 3.5 inches. And obviously we need paper going round the back as well. So we need at least another 3.5 inches plus half an inch. So that means that you need, mathematics here, 3.5 plus 3.5, that's 7, plus another half, that's 7.5. It's not bad, is it, for a Sunday morning? Length needs to be the length of the page, which in this instance is 8 inches, plus half an inch for the bottom. So I need a piece that's 7.5 by 8.5. Now, I'm going to demonstrate with the pattern paper. Wait, pencil. 1 minute. Pencil. Just going to make a little note on here because I'll forget, won't I? 7.5 by 8.5. There we go. So I'm going to use this piece of paper here, and I'm going to demonstrate how you make the pocket first. Then I'm going to show you how you would then do it with this piece if you wanted to use this part of the design. Alright? And so what we're going to do is we're going to trim it up. So what I do is, because sometimes it prints skewy, I don't know whether you can see you see it's wider at that end than it is at that, because it just skews it slightly. So I always find a straight edge and I don't put it up, ooh, sorry, knocked you, I don't put it up to the the little lip on the bottom, but I use the wire to line up on the edge of the design. I want that bit of paper it's got my measurement on. Before I then go and butt up, I can now butt that cut edge up on the bar at the bottom, if you've got this type of trimmer that is. And because it's wider at the top and narrower at the bottom, I'm actually going to start cutting from the top and take it down, because it's easier for it to start in a wide bit of paper and go down to narrow than it is to go from narrow up to wide. This is now a straight edge, so I can butt it up. So at the moment all I'm doing is I'm just trimming off the excess paper that doesn't get printed on. So let's measure this. So what did I say? 7.5 by 8.5. So this is, ooh, it's 8 inches. So I'm going to have to do a slightly shorter pocket, and I want it by 7.5. Okay, so 7.5 I can fit in there fine. What I need to do now is think about what I actually would like on the front of my pocket, and I actually want that bit right there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, let me get it out to show you, my score pal. That's the bit that I want to use. So let me start down here. I'll start at the bottom and go up just because I can visually see. Okay, now then, I know that I want my pocket to be 3.5 inches wide. Look at that, look, so that's 3. There's my half, so it takes me to just past the tomato. So in fact, I'm going to be naughty and just do mine a little bit wider and go by the visual rather than the measurement, if that makes sense. Okay, yep, that's fine. And then along the bottom, I'm going to do a 1/2 inch crease down that way. So from 8 I go down to 7.5. Okay, so that's all the creasing I need to do. So as I say, my pocket's going to be just slightly wider. That's not a problem. So that's fine. I've centralised my tomato and World Fair. Is it a tomato or is it an apple? I think it's tomato. In the centre there. So that's fine. Okay. So then what we're going to do is I'm going to fold each of them over and over. And then I'm going to fold that bottom one up. Okay, now then, if you noticed, when I folded that bit over, that was fine because it doesn't extend beyond my tomato area. But if I fold this one over, it extends way beyond the edge of the pocket, so that I know that I need to trim this piece of paper down. Now I could do the measuring at this point, and I know that it needs to be 7.5 inches wide. So that's if you use the right end of the ruler. So 7 8/2 there. Right, because I'm not into doing the measuring thingy. If I fold that over, what I need to make sure is this part that folds over, it has got to be in contact with this bit, so it needs to overlap it by about 1/2 inch. So in that sense, I can actually get away with not measuring it, so long as I know that it's overlapping that part there. So I'm going to do my usual little dink, which is there, look. Paper trimmer. Get rid of that. So you see now, look, that overlaps that bit. You're not going to see this bit anyway. Now I need to deal with this area down here. And what I actually want to do is this little area there, and this little area there. You see those two bits? I'm going to trim those off. And I'm going to do it with scissors. Now if you imagine that your crease line, it has a left hand side, a right hand side and a middle. I'm going to cut to the right hand side of the crease mark. So in other words, to this edge, not to that edge, alright? Because it doesn't matter if it's slightly smaller. And then I'm going to cut straight up to that, so I've just completely cut out that rectangle. Same again on this side. And I'm going to just cut those off. So I've now cut those away from their rubbish, gone. Next thing I'm going to do is, because when I fold these up, because it's got a straight edge, that could show on the front of my pocket when I fold it all together. So I'm just going to mitre the corners. Just a smidgen there and a smidgen there. And when I say a smidgen, see how tiny that is? There. Right, so we're going to get rid of those. Get your glue, Carol. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? So, what I'm going to do, short bit over first, and I'm just going to place a line of glue on the edge of the paper. Not right on the edge, because when I push these two together, I don't want glue seeping out into this area here. And then I'm also going to put a line of glue on this edge of the paper. In contact, because they're overlapping, at least I know that the ends of my papers are going to be stuck together. And as I say, I don't want to push too hard because I don't want the glue oozing out into my pocket. And then the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to just place glue along this bottom edge. And there. So that's just folded that little tiny flap up. And what you could do with these is you can use them as just purely as individual pockets, floating pockets, and you can do them to whatever size you so wish. This one you need to sort of bear in mind a little bit of the size because of what we're using it for. But if you imagine that that's a pocket stuck inside of another pocket to hold it, because then you could take it out. Okay, so then we're going to do the circle punch at the top. You can go through both pieces of paper, or you could just go through the top piece. I'll do just the top piece first. So I've turned my circle punch upside down, put it underneath the circle, just slightly less than halfway. And so you can see, look, that it's didn't do it very central. Might redo that actually in a bit. And then when we attach this to the page, we're going to glue it on the back, and we're going to glue it around 1, 2, 3 sides. Alright, 1, 2, 3 sides, but on the back side of this. So then you've got your pocket from here. Of course, if you add it to the other side of the page, or down at the bottom of the page, then you would need to glue 1, 2, 3. So then you've got your pocket from there. What you need to remember, that the nearer the seam of where everything meets, where all the pages join together, if you have it down at the bottom there, this is going to get filled up with stuff, so it's going to get quite bulky, and that will then put some pressure on the pages. So I would be more inclined to put it on the edge of the page. If you think that you're going to be filling it with a lot of stuff, and also then putting stuff in the pocket this way, you might want to consider using a piece of card for your page rather than a piece of paper. Little consideration. Okay, this one hasn't got a nice central design. I want to use this one. I wouldn't trim off that part of the paper. So whereas I trimmed the other one down, I wouldn't trim that bit. I'll do the bottom and I'll do the top, but to start me off, I'll trim at the other edge, because we need the excess paper to go around to the back to be able to form the pocket in the first instance. And if we've trimmed away a whole load of paper, form the pocket, so you see that's going to come in handy for when I come to making the pocket. So if I just turn over that much, so can you see how much I've turned over there? So at least the paper has now got this extra support here, and I've still got the main part of my design that I want to use there. So look, so about there. So again, you see I'm not measuring, I'm going by the image. If I went purely by the size that I've given you all the time, I might be excluding part of the image, and so it's more important to have the image than it is the size. There we go. So because it's overlapping, you see there, so I need to cut it about there. Now, as I say, if you want to do the magazine one, I would probably make your pocket first out of just plain card or coffee dyed card, and then cut out your image that you want. And stick that on top, and stick it a little further down in the top of the pocket so that you can get your thumb hole punched out into it. I'm going to cut on the top edge of that crease mark and cut that little rectangle out, and that rectangle, and cut on the top edge of the crease mark again, angled, fold that in, glue on the edge there, glue on the edge there, overlap the two, I wonder, I can see how many people are viewing the actual video, which is great, by the way, thank you. Really appreciating you all joining in, and your comments. I don't always get the time at the moment to comment because I'm doing 6 million other things, or trying to set up 6 million other things, but I wonder how many of you are actually making, not necessarily the journal, but maybe the elements. And if you're making the journal or the elements as we're going along, would you all do me a favour and just type in the comments section, yay. If you write yay, then I know that you're doing it. And then that just gives me a little bit of an idea of how many are doing it. And please share as well. Share with your friends on Facebook and stuff what it is that you're doing. Get them to come along and have a go. So there we go. So there's another pocket. So that's with the image slightly off centre, slightly off kilter. So that one, the design was sort of roughly in the centre of the page. This one, it was slightly off centre to the page. But it shows that you can still do it either way. And as I say, if you're doing the magazine one, make it up with separate paper first, then add your image on afterwards. I did make mine straight from the page and just folded it over. Right, nice easy one again for you today. But again, great little thing to make loads of. Keep in your stash. Make them out of your coffee dyed papers or any of your leftover digital papers that you've got, or any cutouts from magazines. Got yourself a nice few pockets to hand for other journals. Okay, I need a definite brew now. I haven't woke up properly yet. I might even have a coffee. How to live dangerously on a Sunday in Carol's life. Right, on that note, me and Ollie, we're going. Do it. See you later. Bye.